Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Dead Malls, your one home for the coziest mall content and everything retail related. In tonight's episode, we make a special road trip down to southern Illinois to meet with some friends, see some malls, and see the 2024 solar eclipse. Stick around for that. While down and around in Illinois, we stopped at one small town mall in particular, one that quickly stole my heart. Now, growing up with small town malls myself, Effingham, Illinois' Village Square Mall easily became a favorite for me. Basked in dozens of retro sites, a homey atmosphere, and a rich history, I just loved all of it. But before I spoil too much of the fun, I'd like to take a moment and shout out our winner, who was able to successfully guess the next mall. Very nice job, Noah Voris. If you'd like to have your chance of being shouted out in the next episode, stick around for the next challenge. Anyways, let's dive in here, tell the story of, and see how Effingham's Village Square Mall was doing as of my visit in April of 2024.
It's high time I got a deal like this. Believe it. Call Remco first. It's all within your reach at Remco.
Key to success is organization. Fortunately,
Now, when walking into Village Square for the first time, despite its emptiness, it wasn't quiet, though it very easily could be. Country music was instead blaring up and down the halls. Not really my style of ambiance, so instead I'll work in some more peaceful tracks, and we'll get into the history. Quick question though, do you remember what any of these stores were? Village Square Mall's story begins just around 55 years ago in the small yet quickly growing central Illinois town of Effingham. In the fall of 1969, local developer Gene Mayhood, a well-respected and popular name in the community, known for his forward-thinking and expansive plans for the town, had purchased 30 acres of farmland on the south side for his newest creation, a shopping center. Interestingly, Mayhood didn't get rid of the former livestock building when purchasing the land, instead reworking it into what would become the mall's J.C. Murphy anchor store, a look that's still apparent even today, as when approaching the mall or looking at it from Google Earth, the sloped building still sticks out from the otherwise flat roofs elsewhere. Mayhood's plans weren't too overzealous. Village Square Mall, as it would come to be known, would soon begin construction in 1970 and would slowly open in phases over the coming years. The first phase hyped up the opening of the first two anchor stores, those being G.C. Murphy and Eisner Mart. Planned for a fall of 1971 opening, Village Square Mall instantly became the big talk of town, and everyone in the area, excited with the news that they were getting a brand new shopping center, patiently waited for the brand new mall experience. Don't worry, we'll check out that abandoned former JCPenney a little later on. I myself, though, was transported into this world, Village Square's world, a cozy, warm, small-town ambiance that, in the mall's minute architectural details, almost made me feel like I was back home, back in my very own childhood small-town mall. Quite literally a nostalgia trip, especially that old disc jockey. If anyone knows what stores were once down this old back entry wing, please let me know down below. Out of all of the storefronts in this mall, these definitely look like they've been the longest untouched, still retaining that classic wooden Village Square awning design. G.C. Murphy and Eisner Mart formally opened their doors first on November 11th, 1971, as the technical official grand opening of Village Square. However, while shoppers bustled about either store for the best goods in town, the actual mall structure took shape over 72 and into the spring of 1973, opening in portions. Stores to open throughout 72 and 73 included Spurgeon's, Noble Shoes, Playland, RadioShack, P.N. Hirsch, Curlin's Hallmark, Keyboard Music, La Tiara, Dipper Dance, and several others. The mall itself, quickly lit up by each of these store openings, was decked in plentiful amounts of planter bench combos, lamp-lit brick columns, street lamps, dark wooden ceiling trims, and terrazzo flooring, a small-town mall standard in the early 70s. The mall throughout its first few years would very quickly gain traction, as the shopping hub for the entire area, with its hallways usually found crowded in droves of locals each day. This giant white wall to my right side would have originally been a continuation of that brick facading, as this was once the mall's back entryway and theater entrance. Nowadays, after a pathetic renovation to choke it off from the rest of the mall, it still sits operating back there, only accessible from the rear. In early January of 1974, the next meaningful addition came when the Village Square Cinemas would open as a brand new 2-screen mall movie theater. A huge draw, as at the time, the only theaters in town, the Heart, was pretty outdated. By 1976, Effingham was seeing a huge surge in tax revenue, all thanks, of course, to the mall. With this, Mayhood was given his biggest tax write-off yet. And with all this cash, what did he do? Sail the seas? Get a summer house in Italy, perhaps? Well, no. Let's just say he would invest even more into the area, constructing a new, largest of its kind attraction, the likes no one in the world had ever seen. Lincolnland Indoor Amusement Park would officially open its doors in 1977, along with a brand new JCPenney, which would join the lineup as the mall's second and final anchor, completing the layout of Village Square Mall. Lincolnland itself was billed as the world's largest indoor amusement park, containing several levels of carnival rides and attractions, arcade and midway games, restaurants, a roller rink, and even a 5-story full-sized Ferris wheel. By the end of the 77 operating season, Lincolnland and its adjacent and thriving Village Square Mall were the most popular destinations in town, containing just about the most popular spots to hang out, shop, and have fun. And for several years, this would continue, with not much really changing in the mall. Through the 1980s, Village Square Mall would thrive at peak occupancy, and it wasn't really until the late 80s in which the first big changes neared. Now right here at this back entrance, you'll get to see the Lincolnland building, still standing all these years later, albeit a little different in its current life. But if you look closely, you'll notice another set of double doors, these facing towards Lincolnland. This originally would have been a covered walkway between the two entities, which has since long been torn out. By the late 80s, rickety carnival rides inside of a giant glorified warehouse wasn't necessarily bringing in the same crowds it did years prior. And so, in 1988, Lincolnland would officially close its doors, with the building soon being turned into a mix of retail and offices. A year later in '89, G.C. Murphy's would become Rural King, and Eisner Mart, after a short stint as Jubilee Foods, would also close, never to reopen. Eventually in the late 80s and early 90s, Effingham was beginning to change, and the city's retail growth was focusing more along the booming retail strip on the north side. K Square, the first massive shopping plaza since the mall itself, would be constructed on the north side of town, near a brand new Walmart in 1994. K Square itself didn't really last long, but it did set a precedent for new retail, and soon more developments would begin to sprout up along the I-57 corridor. Gene would sell the mall to J. Herzog & Sons in 1994, who themselves would embark on a small renovation, stripping the planter benches and several of the older style aesthetics, taking away just a bit of its original charm. All of these factors left the Village Square just a little bit emptier each day. Now, occasionally as a DoorDash driver, I have orders that take me to my local mall sometimes, as there's a few restaurants in there, and sometimes I have orders that take me to Dollar General. Now, DoorDashing Dollar General orders in a mall? Well, that could have been a reality here at VSM, as that giant wooden face storefront with the lanterns on it would have at one point been the mall's original Dollar General store. Unfortunately, they too have left for greener pastures, just like this old Claire's right here. In 1997, RMC would take over the mall's theaters, and they would be expanded to 4 screens, and then again to 9 screens in 1998, with stadium seating. All of these great expansions were hopefully solidifying the mall's place in the city for generations to come. But really, the late 90s were more like Village Square's final renaissance. The final years when the halls would still be bustled about, filled with popular, recognizable, and neon-lit names, because as soon as the new millennia came around, it would all change. Guitar Hero in a mall is just about the coolest draw for someone like me. I am honestly kicking myself that I didn't get a video of me at least trying it out. Great job, Village Square. We need more stuff like this in malls. Rural King would close in the early 2000s, with the space never to be occupied again, and the giant black hole on the north side was almost like an omen, as more and more inline names left for stores elsewhere in town, or just left altogether. Dollar General, Stage, Brown's Rexall, Dipper Dan's, RadioShack, Deb, Disc Jockey, the list goes on. Herzog, after years of a losing battle, would sell them all to Kohan in 2008, who you all know of at this point. Kohan would, of course, do little to help the fleeting names, except attempting a minor, of course, renovation, tearing out the OG wooden ceiling trims and walling off an empty storefront near the front, covering it with the mall's new VSM logo, that of which would also appear on the front entrance. Despite these few changes, Kohan's typical indifference towards actually trying to help the mall showed through, and into the 2010s, the remaining name brands would leave. Before leaving, we just had to check out this super cool looking thrift store, where I found this super sweet Blues Brothers poster. If any of you are ever in the area, stop in. They got some neat little stores in this mall. You know, when they're actually open. In 2017, JCPenney, after 40 years, would officially close their doors, as the store was literally falling apart, and the owners weren't doing anything to fix it. Now without any anchors, Village Square very quickly takes the look you see today. A sterile, abandoned remnant of old memories. GNC, Bonworth, Zales, and Hallmark, the last named brands, would all close, and in 2020, Kohan would dump them all, leaving it in its ghostly state. In recent years, local ownership has returned to the mall, and it's once again being billed as just a community shopping spot. But seeing it like it is today, after walling off the theater from the rest of the mall concourse, just makes me wonder, how much longer can these lights really stay on? Guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching tonight's episode. Being able to explore and tell the story of Village Square for you all has been so much fun, as this was another mall I've wanted to see ever since I first got into the hobby, and truthfully didn't even know if it would still be open. But if any of you are ever in the area, stop in, soak up the sights and feels, shop around, and enjoy Village Square as would have once been one man's small town dream. Oh yes, and that solar eclipse. Just stick around and that'll be our little outro. If you guys enjoy my Dead Mall content, be sure to hit that subscribe button as it's free and it helps me out so much. And if you'd like to become a supporter further, consider checking out the Patreon for sneak peeks and loads of bonus content. Next week we'll be live at a mall of your choosing, but 2 weeks from now we'll be back once again, this time to tell the story of a little golden mall, right in the nook of Southeast Iowa. Be the first to guess which mall we'll be at, and I'll shout you out in the next episode. But until then, have yourselves a lovely evening, and peace out, guys. See you later. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's your solar eclipse. Oh my god. That is so cool. Look at it. It's like, here, this is what it actually looks like. Here's a little more accurate darkness. Oh my god. You can see the bumps of the moon. Oh, you can see it on camera. Look, there it is. You can see the ridges of the moon. Just zooming in a little more, and hopefully it doesn't autofocus. Wow, look at that. It's about to uncover, hence the daytime coming back. Oh my god. It sounded like rumbling coming from over there. I wish I would have gotten that on camera, but the sun just peeked out. Oh, look at that. The moon's glowing off the sun. Oh, it's starting to get bright. It's starting to get really bright. It's like a giant spotlight just appeared out in the sky. It's so weird. And just like that, you can't see it anymore. That was so cool. The daytime has come back. And I just realized there was like no sound at all. Like all of the sounds of the trees in the forest like went away during that, and now they're back. That is so crazy. It looks like a storm over there, but it's not. It's literally just darkness.